May 25th, 2022. Halfcast 302, episode 302. Let's go. Of course, I have a few things to share with you guys. An evening of reflection. Shall we? Dallas area high school student arrested after being spotted with rifle. This is coming right after the school shooting in Uvalde, Texas. So what I'm starting to see is there's always an aftershock. There's always a ripple effect where as soon as a school shooting happens, somebody's either always phoning in a threat to pull another one, or there's some type of copycat on the edge somewhere. A high school student spotted carrying a rifle outside Burglar High School in Richardson, Texas, was arrested Wednesday, according to local police. The male juvenile, who has not been identified but is believed to be a student at the Dallas area school, was located by officers responding to a call from a business in the school but did not have any weapons on him, the Richardson Police Department said in a press release. Officers did find what appeared to be an AK-47 style pistol and a replica AR-15 style Orbeez rifle in a vehicle used by the suspect. However, the suspect has been charged with the unlawful carrying of weapons in a weapons-free school zone, which is a felony offense. No further information is being released on the suspect due to his age, police said. What makes this so much more difficult is separating the kids who bring guns to school to actually harm people, who actually want to hurt people, from the students who are bringing guns to school because they're honestly in their hearts scared for their life. The Richardson Police Department would like to remind the public of the importance to report suspicious activity, and we recognize the vigilant awareness and actions of the person who initially called 911 to alert law enforcement. The Richardson Police Department continues to work in partnership with Richardson ISD, Plano ISD, and our faith-based organizations to ensure the safety of our community, especially at our schools and places of worship, the department said in the press release. It's disturbing, it's troubling knowing that there's always another wave of attackers around the corner looking to harm the children that's going to our schools and the people who's just going to shop in these public places. They're only emboldened by the actions of the people who came before them. Family who viciously beat zip-tied burglar faces slew of charges. What are you supposed to do? Sit them down and have them watch TGIF with you? That's your Full House, your Family Matters, your Step by Step, and let's just throw in dinosaurs. A father and two sons are facing charges for an incident in which they allegedly assaulted a suspect attempting to burglarize their family business. I don't see what's wrong. I don't see what's wrong. In Florida, they would have told him to shoot his ass. The Kern County Sheriff's Office in Bakersfield, California, announced on Monday that the family had been arrested after turning themselves in on May 3rd. The incident they now face charges for occurred in late April, with deputies being called to the scene on April 27th around 3 a.m. local time, according to KBAK News. John Sparks, 50, made the call reporting an attempted burglary at his business, Sparks Custom Pools. When deputies arrived, Sparks and his two sons, Brendan, 23, and Trenton, 20, showed them the suspect, who was lying near them in the parking lot with his hands zip tied behind his back. So, what's puzzling me is, how did the burglar become the victim? How is this not about a family having their right to protect their business and their own property? A little bit of frontier justice. Police took the suspect, whose name has not been released, into custody that night and transported him to a local hospital for treatment. The man had sustained significant injuries to his head and face during his alleged altercation with the Sparks family. Detectives with the Sheriff's Office Crimes Against Persons Division took charge of the investigation. They're really going to get in trouble for this. They determined, based on a report obtained by KBAK, that the suspect had entered a fenced yard on the business's premises and allegedly began taking items from an unlocked vehicle, clearly stealing, clearly in violation. John Sparks noticed this on security footage and began pursuing the suspect on foot. He eventually chased the suspect to another business where he confronted him with a gun. Detectives explained he fired a round towards the suspect and was able to get him on the ground where he applied the zip tie to his hands. Good work. Brendan and Trenton Sparks arrived at the scene and the three began to assault the suspect, punching, kicking, and striking him with blunt objects for approximately 45 minutes. Then they loaded him into a pickup truck and drove back to Sparks Custom Pools, where they later met the responding deputies. Yeah, a little bit of shipping and handling softened them up for the deputies. Upon learning of this incident, the Kern County Sheriff's Office issued arrest warrants for the father and his sons. After they turned themselves in, they were each hit with a slew of charges. Why? My argument is always going to be he had absolutely no business on someone else's property stealing their shit. And I'll die on that hill. The disclaimer is I have no legal background. John Sparks was charged with assault with a gun, assault with a deadly weapon other than a gun, false imprisonment with violence, and assault on a person with force likely to produce great bodily injury, according to KGET News. Brendan Sparks was charged with assault with a deadly weapon other than a gun and false imprisonment with violence. Trenton Sparks was charged with false imprisonment with violence and assault on a person with force likely to produce great bodily injury. Well, what was the guy that broke in charged with? The three family members are scheduled. What the fuck? This shit is ass backwards. It's killing me. The three family members are scheduled to appear in court on June 22nd. Newsweek reached out to the Kern County Sheriff's Office for a comment. There is something in my gut telling me that once that burglar gets out of the hospital, he's going to try to sue these guys. Rifles, hundreds of ammo seized from man stalking co-workers. I don't even want to spend the workday with my coworkers, let alone stalking them off the clock. This man is a whole different level of weird. Police recently seized several firearms, including two assault style rifles, as well as hundreds of rounds of ammo from a man who was accused of stalking his coworkers. Whatever happened to just going for a couple beers after your shift? According to a press release from the San Jose Police Department in California, I guess when you're shy about making friends, the next best thing is to stalk your coworkers. The suspect was identified as 43-year-old Brian Velasquez. The arrest of Velasquez comes several weeks after police were first notified of his stalking behavior towards some of his coworkers in April of 2022. The San Jose Police Department received a report from a local construction company regarding a former employee that had been engaging in stalking behavior towards multiple co-workers. The San Jose Police Department said in the press release, just showing up, still hanging out around a lunch truck wearing his hard hat, offering to buy people sandwiches. Suspect Velasquez engaged in escalating behavior of cyber stalking, including posting pictures of himself pointing firearms on social media, wearing the hard hat. The San Jose Police Department said in the press release. Additionally, the San Jose Police Department said that Velasquez allegedly sent emails to several different coworkers with threats littered with profanity. Velasquez also would allegedly discuss the co-workers' addresses as well as their daily patterns in his threats made toward them. This is clearly the work of someone who had way too much time on his hands because to compose an email, you need the email address, you need a subject line, and then you got to pick who you want to CC it to. And then if you want to show people your guns, you got to learn how to attach the file. and a PDF just littered with profanity. Amid the investigation into Velasquez's online behavior, the San Jose Police Department discovered that he owned several firearm registrations. Based on the preliminary investigation, detectives worked closely with the Santa Clara County District Attorney's Office to walk through an arrest warrant for Velasquez, charging him with felony stalking, and obtained a gun violence restraining order to seize all his firearms, the press release said. After police obtained the gun violence restraining order, Velasquez was arrested on May 19th without incident. So, what did they revoke all his registrations first to get his guns before they went in and arrested him? Because if they did, that's pretty goddamn crafty. Following the arrest, police seized two AR pattern assault rifles, high capacity magazines, hundreds of rounds of ammunition, tactical body armor, and materials to manufacture and assemble privately made firearms or ghost guns from Velasquez's residence. According to KABC TV in Los Angeles, the San Jose Police Department said that Velasquez's arrest possibly prevented a mass casualty incident. It definitely seems like he was escalating towards something. I guess we can all be glad that those coworkers didn't get a chance to find out what it was. Man caught lifting weights after $730,000 disability payout. Now going to prison. He couldn't just play his position and get on the bike for a few minutes, do a couple laps in the swimming pool. No, the ladies are in the building. He has to hit the rack. A former postal worker received hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of disability payments for about a decade after he reported a work related back injury, prosecutors said. But during these years, the man was caught traveling, fishing, and weightlifting. Despite claims of a debilitating injury. So let's get this straight. They caught him mountain climbing, shark catching, and breaking the gym record in the weight room with the debilitating injury. Now he's going to prison. Jeez. George Utley was sentenced to 2.5 years in prison after he pleaded guilty to receiving stolen government property, specifically Department of Labor disability benefit payments, according to a news release from the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Middle District of Florida. So, peep game, you see, they only gave him 2.5 years. They know he's perfectly healthy. They don't want him to waste that time in prison. They want him back on the clock so they could take that money out of his check. They want him to pay that money back. Between January 2009 and March 2019, a 10-year run, the 56-year-old Army veteran received over $732,000 worth of benefit payments by reporting false statements about his medical condition and other sources of income, prosecutors said. Utley's defense attorney did not immediately respond to a request for commitment from McClatchy News on May 24th. What is his defense attorney going to say? That's going to make him look good. Utley started receiving benefits in January 2009. He thought he was never going to have to work again. It's 2022 after he thought after he reported a back injury that occurred while he was working as a mail handler at a Pennsylvania United States Postal Service facility. Court documents show Utley reported that he sprained his back after standing up in a break room. That don't sound right at all. Utley received both lump sum payments dating back to his reported injury and regular monthly disability benefits payments ranging from approximately 2,600 in 2011, that's $2,600 a month, to 3,300 in 2019. Court documents state that despite reports of his painful, disabling medical conditions, Utley spent only $14 in pain medication for his back once in 2012. No opioids. Everybody that's in pain doesn't have to become a slave to the pill mill. As part of his testimony, Utley told authorities that he had no prior back injuries before the 2009 incident, prosecutors said, but court documents show that Utley failed to report he was in at least 9 car accidents before 2009, in which he filed several lawsuits for neck and back injuries. Oh, he's one of them types of guys chasing a payday. Prosecutors said Utley also failed to report more than $100,000 worth of insurance settlement payments he received following the accidents. He wasn't chasing a payday, he caught a payday. Court documents show Utley was also running several businesses during the period he received disability payments. Prosecutors said that despite claims of a debilitating work related back injury, Utley posted several pictures on social media between 2015 and 2019, always social media, showing him weightlifting, going bicycling in the mountains. I called it fishing a 3 foot long kingfish and visiting the Grand Canyon, living his best life. Utley was also caught on surveillance video in his Florida residence in 2019, doing extensive yard maintenance, lifting heavy items with no visible difficulty. Court documents state following a 2017 medical examination, a doctor determined Utley could return to work at USPS. Oh no, court documents show. But when he was offered a job back as a postal worker in 2018, Utley refused and later told a vocational rehabilitation specialist that he would never return to work. Living my best life. Prosecutors said had Utley complied with his reporting requirements, he would not have received the disability benefit payments at issue in this case, and added that Utley's false reports cost the United States a loss totaling $732,459.46. You know, you piss somebody off when they add cents to the dollar amount. When was the last time you seen cents at the end of a figure between 2009 and 2019? Utley is sentenced to 2 years of supervised release. Also, court records show as yeah, you're gonna get a probation officer. They want to make sure you're working to pay that money back. Fun show, fun show, fun show. That being said, I'm going to wrap this one up, but I'll be sure to talk to you guys very, very soon. Adios.